Welcome to the Homestead, and more importantly, welcome to day 16 of the 40-day Cultivating Real Life Homestead Challenge. Today is a fun day because it's Ryan's birthday. Ryan is our oldest son, and he's turning 9, and I've got a few things that I'm doing today that are away from the house, so I'm going to turn it over to Melinda, and she's going to get to show you some cool things that she's got in store, something really fun with Ryan's cake. So let's hear from her, and then we'll see if we get much else done in the garden today.
Melinda here, cultivating real life at the Modern Homesteader. I thought we would talk a touch about baking. I know we've been talking a lot in the garden, but today let's touch for a moment on baking. Today is our oldest Ryan's 9th birthday, so I am going to be making him a cake along with the help of my girls a little bit later. And for years I wanted a simple from scratch yellow cake recipe. I searched online and they were all a little tricky, or they just were unclear, and I didn't realize I had a wealth of recipes right under my nose. These are 2 cookbooks that my grandmother, one of them I got as a gift from my grandmother about 30 years ago, and one of them came from my grandmother's house. They both are, this one I think is initially copyrighted in 1961, and this one is 1966. They are full of what we would call today real food recipes. Yellow cakes, 1-egg cakes, white cakes. It is awesome. I am making Ryan's birthday cake from one of these recipes. The funny thing is they have some really cool baking tips as well. I'm not going to give away all my secrets, but one secret it says to making a great cake is to add 2 tablespoons, let me check it, 2 tablespoons of boiling water when you cream the butter and sugar, and it will give it a great texture. It also says to add in a pinch of lemon juice to your creamed butter and sugar. I'm going to try both of those for a smooth texture and fluffy finish. We'll ask Ryan and see how he thinks it turned out. Sometimes I used to think that when I started a garden, or really any project from homeschooling to baking to whatever, that I needed to have all my supplies and know exactly what I needed before I ever started. There is truth in making sure you have the right plans and the right things, but sometimes you just don't know what you need until you get into it. That is what we have going on in our garden here during this challenge. We weren't exactly sure what kind of fencing we would need to keep out the deer. We started with the chicken fencing and put it in place, the chicken wire, the poultry net, and then we tried this other garden netting, and it wasn't really strong enough or big enough for our big garden, so we used it on the sunflowers. So here we are. Our crops aren't big enough yet to have deer come and invade, but we are growing corn, and deer will be a problem coming up. So I ordered today another example of some garden netting, just not too expensive garden deer netting that we're going to try and put on our garden. But I didn't have that in place when we started our garden. We weren't sure. All we knew is that we needed netting. Smart for us to wait and see what we needed. The same with our water source. We have the water cube going on. We can fill up with that. We can use that for the chickens. We're still not sure how to get the soaker hose, get a water rain barrel soaker hose and use that. So I got a couple of other soaker hoses in place for right now. I didn't get them before, but they should be coming in the next couple of days just to give us an idea. If they don't work out in the garden the way we're hoping, we have other spots in our yard we can use them in. Sometimes you gotta just dive in, and once you get in the middle of it, see what suits your needs. Kids had told me about a new fort they had built underneath the trampoline. Looks like they didn't want the chickens invading their space. I don't blame them. Our hens love their shady, under the tree, pine straw laden dustpan spots. In case you were wondering, Elliot's cardboard solution, or our cardboard solution Elliot put down underneath our path with the hay straw, it's working like a charm. No weeds to date. Blueberries are still looking good. That new one that Ryan and Katie planted, it's looking good over here. We are going to need to give it some water today. It hasn't rained, although it's not looking healthy. One of our berries has even turned blue, or turned purplish. Right here, but it needs water. Boy, it's hot out here. Are you getting hot, Lydia? Me too. All right, the ice cream freezer is going, so you may hear that on the porch. The cake is done. I baked the cake using the old-time recipe, and I must say, I'm thinking this lady was not the best cook in town because this cake fell apart, and I'm not sure how tasty it is. We tried it. I might stick with the old faithful recipe for his sleepover tomorrow for the cupcakes for the boys. We're gonna see if he likes it anyway. I'm not gonna say anything, but it just goes to show you that old-time recipes are only good if the old-time cooks were good cooks.
Well, the cake has been baked, the birthday meal has been made, and it's time for us to sit down. Before we do that, we've got to ring the dinner bell. So like we've been talking about today, it's Ryan's birthday, and one of our family's traditions is that Mama makes a homemade meal of your choice. So we do that instead of going out to eat. We love to be here, and we get to eat Mama's great food. She does a really good job at cooking. Now, one thing that she was just sharing with us is that Ryan went through about 3 different menu choices today. So we have settled on one item finally here, and it looks and smells fantastic. So we're gonna sit down now and we're gonna eat, and then we're gonna wish him a happy birthday. And then, despite what Mama thinks about that cake, it's still gonna be really good, and we're gonna enjoy it. We get to eat some of that cake. And I also think I heard the ice cream maker going. Are we having some fresh homemade ice cream?
Some homemade chocolate mousse tracks.
Homemade chocolate mousse tracks ice cream. Can't wait. So we've got to eat. Let's go. So we're gonna check now on the homemade ice cream. I hear it's still going, but ours does not ever actually stop. If you make ice cream, you know that some freezers will stop. Ours, for whatever reason, just never actually does that. So we're gonna see what it looks like. All right, so I just took the motor off and I wanna look inside. Oh, it's looking pretty good. Still got a little bit more to go. So we'll see if we can put a little bit more ice around it and probably let it run just a little bit longer because we want it to be really good and frozen. So we'll give it a few more minutes here. Well, it has been an awesome birthday celebration, and now we get to eat the cake. So we're gonna give it a try and see how that old-fashioned cake works out, and see if the recipe is just as good as it was way back, what, in 1961? 1961. So we're gonna sing happy birthday to this 9-year-old, and then we're gonna celebrate. Thanks for joining us for day 16 of the 40-day Cultivating Real Life Homestead Challenge. We'll see you tomorrow for day 17. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ryan. Happy birthday.